Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind is a gorgeous, legendary Japanese animated film directed by none other than the hottest boy on the block, Hayao Miyazaki. Although technically Nausicaä was made before the founding of Studio Ghibli, the film is often considered part of the studio's beautiful family, along with its many equally attractive siblings such as Castle in the Sky, Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away, who could forget, Pizza's Delivery Service. I, like many of you, grew up watching these films because my mom would rent them from the library when I was sick, probably because she knew I was partial to school buses that were also cats. I love and respect Studio Ghibli's films so much, and the reason I bring that up is to briefly touch on what I talked about in the previous premiere episode of If Movies Were Games. Basically, movies and video games typically have had messy relationships with each other, but a good game adaptation of a movie is possible by acknowledging the differences between the two mediums while respecting the source material. The original movie that spawned this whole If Movies Were Games series idea was actually Nausicaä, but because I didn't have the ideas ironed out yet, I went ahead and talked about another concept I loved, 28 Days Later, instead. But now I'm back, primed and hot and ready like a little Sleezer's pizza to talk about Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind reimagined for computer hard drive gaming. If you haven't seen the film yet, this is the part where I'm going to start putting spoilers on my glider before driving it off a cliff, so you've been warned. Just to recap, the movie takes place 1,000 years after a big old war called the 7 Days of Fire, where the bioengineered god warriors roasted everything, in the process polluting the earth and creating the Sea of Corruption, a massive forest of toxic air, plants, and big old bugs. Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind is just that, Princess of the Valley, one of several remaining kingdoms yet to be taken out by the Sea of Corruption. Nausicaä is a strong young pup, a girl that has a keen knack for all things in the nature realm, including, but not limited to, plants, animals, bugs, boys voiced by Shia LaBeouf. She is more curious about the toxic jungle than she is afraid of it, and she knows that violence towards the wildlife will only result in more conflict and death, but I'll come back to that later. In the valley, there is an ancient prophecy that says a destined big blue robe wearing wiener dude will walk among fields of gold, bringing harmony between man and nature. Well, too bad the prophecy is wrong, because the little dude is actually a little girl in a not-so-little hat. That's right, folks. Nausicaä is the chosen one, provided with the gift of communication between the magic and mysterious Ohms, basically the insect lords that are going to destroy everything if the humans don't get their shit together. What's interesting about Nausicaä is that the film and the manga that came before it are actually pretty different. The manga is much more extensive, introducing many more places and characters than the film, along with a central plot that gets kinda crazy. For example, the plot of the movie really kicks off when the Tolmekians of the Empire of Tolmekia crash a big-ass plane near the Valley of the Wind, revealing the cargo to be the egg of a god warrior that they stole from the city of Pajit, a city that is part of the Tolmekian Empire, along with taking their princess hostage, Shia LaBeouf's sister, with the intent of using the god warrior to wipe out the Sea of Corruption, without realizing that's only going to piss off a massive herd of Ohms who would, again, destroy everything unless the humans get their shit together. The Tolmekians then invade the valley to reclaim the egg, taking Nausicaä hostage with them, thus commencing the events of the film. The manga, on the other hand, instead has the Tolmekian Empire wage war against another large empire called the Turok Empire on the other side of the map, and Nausicaä, after being appointed chieftain of the valley, must follow the rules of an ancient treaty that forced her to assist the Tolmekians in their war against the Turok people, leading into a whole bunch of other shit. Yeah, pretty different. Snake Boy's been doing some research in the garage. The reason I bring up these differences is because my imaginary Nausicaä video game isn't going to be exactly like either of these two timelines, but more of a combination of the two, putting to work the amazing world-building lore stuff that exists in both stories. So now, let's really get into it. You play as Nausicaä, and your goal is still to bring peace and harmony between the kingdoms and the big old bugs, so this isn't gonna be any ultra-violent, guns-blazing vomit party. The map of this world is already so interesting and varied with jungles, caves, deserts, and ghost towns, so you guessed it, the game is another open-world adventure. Also, Studio Ghibli already worked on a game called No Kuni, and that game is a pretty little piece, so Don't pretend like Nausicaä, the imaginary video game, wouldn't also look like the prettiest girl at prom. The game would have a similar beginning to the film, with the Tolmekians invading the valley to get their egg back and taking over control of the city. The goal is still to ultimately avoid using the God Warrior for obvious reasons, except this time, Nausicaä avoids being taken hostage, finding refuge in her super sick-ass secret garden room, where she's learned how to grow bomb-ass, dank-ass, non-toxic plants using water and soil from the depths of the earth. In the movie, there's a secret entrance to her secret room, leading down a winding stair set into an underground corridor. Now, taking some slight liberties here, but what if, even though the valley is under Tolmekian control, Nausicaä could still use her secret room as sort of a home base while adventuring the world, using an extended series of secret tunnels that you could enter outside of the valley. The importance of solidifying that home base idea is because you'll need a place to return to during all of your adventuring to do your crafting and plant breeding, but I'll come back to that in a bit. I think it's time to address the elephant in the room. I know we all just want to talk about how amazing the glider is. This would be your main source of transportation doing running starts off cliffs, boost jumping the whip, or free balling at hangman style. God damn it, the glider is so cool. Let's also address the cute-ass fox squirrel. Her name is Tater, short for Tater, I hardly know her, and she'll be your companion during your travels, helping you detect wildlife in danger. Also, remember how in the movie, Nausicaä has the special gift of being able to communicate with the Gnomes, and how in that one part the Gnomes tell her, hey, Shia LaBeouf is in danger, you should probably go save him. In short, this is how you're gonna bring peace to the world. Each kingdom across the map that you encounter during your travels will have a different conflict, something that you need to help fix, someone that you need to save, bugs that need to be soothed, etc. Essentially, think Fallout New Vegas with its different factions and relationships meets using the Pokeflute from Pokemon Snap to get Pokemon to do shit meets exploring a vast landscape filled with giant beasts and ruins, Shadow of the Colossus style. And you can also fly too, so let's go ahead and get Diddy Kong Racing up there. By seeking out an Ohm near its respective part of the map, the jungle, the depths, the desert, and so on, the Ohms could help put you in the right direction of what needs to be done to solve a conflict, with Tater, I hardly know her, maybe helping you find the Ohms while exploring. So for example, say you find an Ohm in the depths and it's like, hey dude, one kingdom recently captured a baby Ohm to draw a mad herd to an opposing kingdom to F everything up, so you should probably go save that baby Ohm and lead the herd away. I don't know, man, I'm just a big old magical bug. Which brings me to another big part of the game, soothing and controlling the bugs. In the movie, Nausicaä uses a variety of tools to diffuse situations with the bugs, using flash grenades from her glider, shooting siren shells from her sweet-ass rifle to draw attention, shooting out flares in the night sky, singing the ballad of the bugs with a yo-yo thing, and just talking to them. All of these tools would be at your disposal as well, but with limited resources, requiring some strategic thought when approaching an intense situation, such as rescuing a baby Ohm from some dicklords. Or, say you find an Ohm in the desert, and it's like, alright, so the princess of the kingdom out here recently got kidnapped by friggin' Turok people, so you should probably track her down and save her. If you bring her back, the townspeople will probably hear you out and actually help you. I don't know, man, I'm just a big old magical bug. So now, you go find those kidnappers, but they're being chased by a giant Ohm, so you gotta calm that doggy down. Or maybe the kidnappers are in the sky with a big convoy instead, so you have to do some glider platforming, drop some flash grenades, and save that princess. Some of the conflicts the player encounters while traveling from kingdom to kingdom could also be solved without the help of Ohms, instead being more naturally integrated into exploration. During your epic travels across this vast landscape, you're gonna need some resources, and this is where the super secret bomb-ass herb room comes into play. In the wild world, you could collect all sorts of goodies, ranging from different kinds of plants, to valuable eye shells taken from dead Ohms, and everything in between. The point of collecting stuff is to grow and craft things back at your secret lab, whether it's healing herbs, a new filter for your mask, flash grenades, snacks for Tater I hardly know her, or just a pretty flower. This is your incentive to explore the gorgeous world and see what's out there. What I meant a second ago by kingdom conflicts being more naturally integrated into exploration is, say for example you get to the Valley of Sand and King Kring Dingus over there is like, look, Nadia, or whatever the hell your name is, I'll join your peace coalition, but you gotta do something for me first. I've always wanted this very pretty flower, but they don't grow around here and any I've ever seen are toxic. I know they grow around the capital city of Tolas, but they're real bastards over there, so you best watch yourself. So now, You're on this seemingly simple quest to find or grow a flower in your lab that turns into this whole experience of dealing with this heavily guarded city just to find a dang flower. Or maybe someone in SEMO is like, hey, we'd love to help you out, but we're not doing so hot on supplies. I know nearby in the toxic jungle there's a dead ohm and we could really use the resources. If you bring us back those ice shells, we could probably help you out. I don't know, man. I'm just a big old magical bug. I know these examples are a little more fetch questy, but I love the idea of even a simple fetch quest actually being something you're stoked to do. Like, I get to explore around in the mysterious wasteland some more, climbing around in old god warriors, finding giant ohms, sticking my head inside a chocobo mouth. Put me in, coach. One of the biggest pieces of this puzzle, the one that makes me cry at 3 a.m. like a small boy, is the music of Joe Hisaishi. No Studio Ghibli film would be the same without his magical, goddamn enchanting compositions, and no imaginary video game would be the same either. Whether it's the sweeping melodies that could creep in while you're cruising your glider during the day's dawn, or the weird synthy disco beats that play when shit's hitting the fan, the music is such a big part of this world. Just imagine having one of these beautiful tunes play in your secret little garden room, giving you a brief moment of peace and calm before heading back out again, continuing your quest of unifying the kingdoms to prevent the Tolmekians from essentially ending the world. Why not have an open world adventure rooted in themes of discovery, harmony, love, and anti-violence, with a protagonist that's equally as human and vulnerable as she is badass and heroic? Why not Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind? Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, go ahead and bite that like button like it's a princess's finger, and if you'd like to see more, go ahead and hug that subscribe button like it's a master swordsman. If you'd like to help me make more of these videos, you can also support my channel on Patreon, and shout out to Drew V for his very generous contribution to Hot Boy Nation. Thank you, Drew. If you don't want me to make any more videos, you can tell me why on Twitter, and also quick shout out to user @DipCoda for hooking me up with a PSP. Playing THPS 2 anywhere I want is baller ass. Thanks so much, dude. Catch my 360p stream on Twitch, and as usual, Snapchat me pictures of your dogs. I'll see you next time. Dog bless.